Hey everybody, happy Wax on Wednesdays. Today we're going to be getting started with a printmaking segment, an encaustic printmaking segment with encaustic monotypes. For this segment, which we'll probably do for a few weeks, I'm going to be using an anodized aluminum surface, and I'll list all of the options that you can choose from for your anodized aluminum surface on the blog for Replogle.com, and all of the supplies that I use every single week is always on the blog. But in this case, I'm also going to list a variety of options that you can use for an anodized aluminum surface, because they can get very pricey or they can also be pretty reasonable depending on your choice of sources. So I'm going to list all of the options there on the blog post for this week. Getting started here, I've heated up my surface, and the first couple of prints that I do are really all about getting the temperature correct for these prints. And I just want to sort of gauge with my encaustic paint here. I'm using R&F encaustic paints. Any brand of encaustic paint is going to work just fine for this. And but I'm using the R&F little bars of paint, and I want to see that my lines hold their form when I place them there on the plate. They're not just melting into a pool. And then also when I put my paper down, is it sort of smushing? And it is just a little bit on that yellow color. You can see that it was just smushed a little bit. It didn't really hold its form as it did there on the printed surface. And so that's where I'm really playing around with my temperature to get the temperature just right so that it will hold all the line and texture that I put into this monoprint. And here I'm using the Catalyst tool. This is a Catalyst blade, and this is listed on the blog as well. It's really fun. There's a variety of tools that you can use. You can use the whole Princeton Catalyst line for this printing encaustic monoprints, but there's also a lot of other tools that you can use as well from the dollar store and all sorts of things. Things to keep in mind when you're looking for tools for encaustic monoprinting is that you don't want to scratch your anodized aluminum surface, and also you don't want your tools or implements to melt there on the heated surface. So a couple of things to look out for when you're looking for tools to use. And every time I create another print, I'm also adjusting the temperature on my heated surface. So every single time I pull a print, I'm either turning it up or turning it down, trying to find that perfect balance of temperature where it's going to hold its line retention is what I'm looking for. And here, now that I've got the temperature dialed in just a little bit better, I can really begin to create depth in my prints where I can overlap colors, overlap forms and lines, and it's going to create more depth in my print and without losing it and having it all sort of melted and pulled together. And if you've been enjoying Wax on Wednesdays for a while now, if you ever would like to see the full extended versions of the videos for each and every Wax on Wednesdays, plus bonus videos that aren't here on YouTube, you can come over and check out the Patreon channel. We'd love to have you over there. I go into depth on each and every video, more step-by-step process of everything that I do for each and every project. The videos are also launched first over on the Patreon channel, sometimes up to 24 hours before they are here on the YouTube channel. And there's bonus videos. There's lots of bonus videos over there that aren't here on the YouTube channel that are members only for the Patreon channel, including a full series on photo encaustic and a new podcast as well. So if you'd like to check out our community, then come over there to the Patreon channel, and the link is here below the video. I started the Patreon channel about a year ago in April of 2020, just as a way of providing sort of a mini workshop content if instead of having to purchase an entire workshop that can get expensive, especially if you're sort of jumping around and like to take a lot of workshops, or you just want to get your feet wet and sort of get into encaustic a little bit more, but you're not ready to buy a full workshop, then this is a great way for just the price of a cup of coffee per month to sort of dive in little mini workshop increments and still have somebody right there to answer your questions and things like that. So it's a great way to sort of get your feet wet in encaustic and also in cold wax painting. So here I'm using the Catalyst blade again. Catalyst, the Princeton Catalyst has really a full line of really fun tools to use when you're creating encaustic monoprints. And at this point, I've got my temperature dialed right where I want it. So you can see I can easily overlap these circles, and even using the same sort of color tone, it's going to create a lot of depth, even using the same colors. And you can see that I don't really wipe off my plate very often. I'm going with sort of the same palette, so I don't want to waste any paint. I really just utilize the paint that is already on the plate, and that way I'm not wasting any. You can wipe it off easily. You can heat it up. When you're done, you can heat it up just a little bit more and wipe it off with paper towels. You really don't need any cleaning implements even to clean it off. If you do find a stubborn area, you can always use some soy wax. Is a really cheap way to clean off your plate and get it nice and shiny again. You can also use encaustic medium, but that gets a little bit pricey. So here I'm going to create a double print. I'm going to pull a double print on this one, and you can see all that depth that these circles are creating there by overlapping them because I have it at the perfect temperature. I'm going to put the same paper back on to the surface and pull a double print here with a darker color. So here I just used a darker indigo mixed in with the same exact paints that I was using, created those same sort of circles, and now I'm going to pull a double print. And because my plate is at the right temperature, I'm able to do this. And look at all that great line and texture on this paper. I hope you really enjoyed this week, and we will see you next week for some more printmaking. Happy creating!